Yeah.
Judge Ellis in Virginia, Michael, really just admonished Robert Mueller's team. If you've seen the story, it's breaking very recently, basically telling them that they've far overstepped. And I believe that you were very close to the gentleman, the president who appointed him, aren't you?
A Reagan-appointed judge.
Yes,
what
he
a
was.
concept.
He actually called the Mueller team. He said they lied. Those are some fighting words right there, right?
I mean, those are huge words. And then he, of course, asked for the document that shows the scope of what they're able to do or not to do, if you will. Oh, this is huge. With all the other news going on today, this really is the top story.
Yeah, this is the story.
The federal judge, in fact, has said.
Yeah, and then the judge really went a step further. He said, you don't care about Mr. Manafort at all. You don't care about his civil rights. You're looking to get the president. And he said to them, quote, come on, man, to the federal prosecutor, when they tried to argue that they were acting within the scope of their investigation. To me, Michael, this is unprecedented. Coming out of law enforcement, having sat in many courtrooms, I've rarely seen a judge spank down the prosecution this forcefully.
Oh, I've never heard of a judge doing that either. And it's amazing that he went that far. And the thing is, he said what everybody knows. I mean, this is not, brain surgery here. Everybody knows the game that they're playing to get the president of the United States. They could care less about Manafort. It's all about trying to get Manafort to flip on the president, to impeach the president, to get him out of office. It's just another ploy and a game by the special prosecutor, and the judge called him on it.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is according to, and I just want to make sure that we cite our sources. This is according to Vox and Fox reporting this breaking story.
Reuters now as well.
And Reuters now as well. But I just want to make sure that, Newsmax hasn't independently verified this.
NBC that broke it?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It wasn't NBC that broke it.
No,
right?
it wasn't.
It wasn't NBC. I know. We got it. We got your little crack.
No
there.
Brian Williams on this one, Michael.
No. Oh, geez, we went there. Okay. But, more importantly, okay, so everyone is saying this is huge. You've never seen this. This is unprecedented. Yeah. So Michael, to put it in perspective, what now?
What now? The ball's in Mueller's court at this point. What now? The judge is asked to see the unredacted document that that everybody's been looking for a long, long time, and the judge is ordered now to see the unredacted piece of paper.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting to see if that's going to be turned over by the people who need to be turning it over.
Now, Michael, you're of course talking about the scope memo, the memo generated by Rod Rosenstein to Robert Mueller that defines the scope of his investigation. And interestingly, when the government tried to argue back on that, Judge Ellis said, well, I'll be the judge of that in relation to scope, and then again demanded to see this memo. This memo could arguably, now I'm purely speculating, but this memo could arguably cause the judge to dismiss charges against many of those charged by Robert Mueller if he finds they acted outside their scope. Could it not?
Oh, absolutely right. That could be the next big story, if you will, after he reads and sees that memo. And it's good that he ordered it because he's going to be able to see that memo where it's not been forthcoming from Rosenstein or anybody else in Washington, D.C.
Now, Michael, we see great reaction every time anything like this happens, from the president's policies working to another defeat in terms of their Russia collusion efforts on the other side. So we know that the Democrats will react to this. How do you think the Democrats will react? What will their spin be on this story? Because this is a little bit of a challenge.
Oh, this is not going to make them happy at all, just like yesterday when NBC had to retract what they said earlier.
Right.
They started playing the crying game. I'll tell you what's really great about this story also. The fact is, it took Rudy Giuliani off the front pages of the newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
And him going out and saying the things that he's saying, it took all of that off the front pages and moved this to the top. I'm telling you, that's a breath of fresh air to the White House right now.
Michael, though, doesn't this somewhat validate Giuliani, even if not the tactic he used by going on Fox News, but his more aggressive, combative approach toward Team Mueller? John Dowd and Ty Cobb, President Trump's former attorneys, were very timid. They were very tepid in their approach toward Mueller. Giuliani comes out punching the next day, maybe just coincidental, but the optics of it look very good for Trump. The next day, the judge is very aggressive with Mueller's team on the heels of Giuliani being aggressive. This has to have President Trump and his new legal team feeling pretty good about the direction things will go from here.
Well, because of Judge Ellis, it feels good. But remember, over the last 2-3 days, there's been, what, 4, 5, 6, 7 different stories about this.
Right.
You know, they need to get their stories right the first time, not the 8th or 9th time, if you will. You don't catch the White House and everybody by surprise, which is exactly what happened when Giuliani went on Sean Hannity's show. And sometimes it's just better not to say anything. And I think in the back of my mind also, do you really want to make the special prosecutor mad to make him even dig in more? And that might be, in fact, why we see how he went forward with Manafort and others, because he's trying to prove a case that where there is no case. Right. And so he's looking for every other avenue to try and come up with something, because basically, you know, we've made him as angry as he's made us.
Well, Giuliani may not be the first story that everyone's talking about, but he certainly isn't on the back page. Right. Because, Michael, the president responding today to a group of reporters on his way to Dallas to speak in front of the NRA, was asked several questions about Giuliani. He was very complimentary, but some people are even suggesting he might have, maybe not intentionally, but kind of threw him a little bit under the bus by saying, you know, he's new to this job. He'll get all of his facts straight. You know, saying he just started yesterday. You know, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that the president was throwing him under the bus, or do you think he was just more or less trying to clarify?
I think Giuliani caught everybody by surprise, even the president of the United States, with what he was saying yesterday, and then having the next story go out. Well, actually, it was, we didn't pay it in one lump sum. We did it over a monthly basis. All these things going on. And the president of the United States is always going to have the last word, especially this president of the United States. He is never going to let someone one-up him. And the problem is he's hired somebody who likes the camera almost as much as he does.
Michael, let me ask you this. Do you think this move by Judge Ellis now changes the dynamic of President Trump sitting down for an interview with Mueller, or Mueller trying to subpoena the president? Do you think this will have an effect on Mueller's team, or are they going to be as persevering as ever?
I don't think there's going to be a subpoena going forward, even though Giuliani says there's a 50-50 chance. I don't think there's going to be a subpoena going forward to the president of the United States. And I agree with attorneys. You know, sitting down with Mueller is just really a trap, because the president of the United States just can't stay on the same page. He always is going off somewhere. Answer the questions written to you, write the answers back. But you sit down and get into a room, and the way attorneys will play the game, you could find yourself being charged with what? With all kinds of things by Mueller, again, who is searching for a reason to indict you on something.
Newsmax TV. Watch us on Dish, DirecTV, AT&T Uverse, Verizon Fios, or download our free app. Don't have Newsmax TV? Call your local cable provider and request Newsmax today.